One of my first conflicts when I learned to meditate from a Brahmin priest, Dr. Arya, who is a professor at the University of Minnesota, and I took on a Sanskrit mantra, is that my background did not really prepare me for this. As a child, I went to Baptist Sunday school. When I reached high school age, I went to Quaker meeting. I went through the process of becoming a conscientious objector during the Vietnam War and did civilian service. So I was very committed to the Quaker approach. But the Quaker approach left me wanting more, wanting something more, something stronger. At first, I became involved with charismatic Christians, a sort of a sub-branch of evangelical Christians. And I loved the singing and I loved the feeling it brought me. But I didn't find anyone there that modeled what I wanted to be. And there was something missing even in the evangelical Christian community. I wanted to study with a saint, and saints, unfortunately, are hard to find. Mother Teresa was alive then, but she was in India and I was in Minneapolis. Then I found Dr. Arya. He was not exactly what I was looking for, but he he was a very highly advanced spiritual person. It wasn't because of his degrees, it was because of how it felt to be with him. When I was sort of young and naive, I remember going up to talk to him the first time. And when I got close to him, I looked into his eyes, I felt like I was looking into infinity. It was a very strange sensation. There was the depth of being there that I was unaccustomed to encountering. And I could feel there was something unique about this person. So I trusted my intuition that this was, even though this didn't match what I was looking for from a faith perspective, it matched what I was looking for from an intensity, a seriousness, a committedness. And he taught me how to build a spiritual practice. And that really became the ground, the bedrock of my spiritual life, was this meditation technique I learned from him. At first, it felt conflicted, but over time, the benefits that rolled in from it far outweighed any sort of theological concept or belief conflict. That was just a head conflict. And what this mantra meditation gave me was a really settled sense of peace within my own self. One of the first things that began to change, and this was sort of a long distance, slow thing, is my voice changed. My voice went from being sort of nervous, a bit anxious, too fast paced, to a more mellow voice. And that happened by itself. It wasn't something I intended to do. It's just something that came along with the practice. And it made perfect sense, because if I'm sitting there each day, spending 20 minutes each day on a very mellow, soothing, calming sound, of course that's going to have a long-term impact, especially after 50 years of listening to that sound in my mind. So that was one of the first things that started to change, is I started to feel more content, more quiet, more peaceful. My thoughts went from being rambled and confused to being a little more directed, a little more concise, a little more clear. But the whole thing takes place over a long stretch of time. I didn't notice any change at all for 6 weeks. And the bigger changes didn't start happening until about 2 years. For most people, this is too long. They don't have the patience or the discipline or the willingness to really devote themselves to a spiritual practice every day for 2 years. But I've been doing it every day for 50 years plus. And I can tell you that the long-term benefits of having a spiritual practice are huge. And you can't possibly know how huge they are until you have a spiritual practice that you stick to. One of the things that comes up sometimes, especially with people that are unused to this, is they might be willing to give it a try, but how do they get a mantra? And that is a bit of a quandary in a way. A mantra is something that is charged. It's infused with a certain energy when it's given to you. So when I give someone a mantra, the way it comes to me is that I will meet with a person, I'll get to know them, I'll get a feel for them. And if they're serious, and this is a big underline, if they're serious, and if I can count on them being serious and sticking with their practice, then I will be open to receiving a mantra, because as the person who's initiating, I don't generate the mantra. It doesn't come from me. It comes from this other, this thing that you could call it God or the divine spiritual presence, angelic presence, whatever. But it comes from this spiritual place, and it's not coming because I want it to happen. It comes to me as in a dream. Usually it comes to me in a dream, where I will dream what this person's mantra will be. And then I know and feel confident that this is the one for them. Now, I know that's sort of a mysterious process and one that I don't understand rationally 100% myself. But that's how it works for me. So if you don't have someone who can give you a mantra, who has the sort of spiritual weight to give a mantra, then you're sort of stuck with your own devices. So one way to think of it is that if the intent is there, the mantra will arise. Either you'll meet someone who can give you a mantra, or it will somehow come to you over time. But that's a harder way to do it, speaking from experience, because a mantra is custom fitted to you and infused with energy for you. And you can't hope to custom fit a mantra for yourself because you don't know what a mantra is or how a mantra works. And so you're sort of acting blind. And for most beginners, the starting place is a simple mantra, so hum. It's usually timed with the breath. You inhale so and exhale hum. So, S-O, and hum, H-U-M. It's a Sanskrit word. It just means I am. Sort of like that phrase in the Bible, I am who I am. So hum. And that's a good, safe place to start. It won't take you down any strange places or have to force you to deal with exotic energies. But it just is focused on so hum. Just coming to know yourself. And in the end, that's really what a mantra enables you to do, is get to know your own self. Expand your own self into your potentials. And I hope this video is of some help to you, and you're always welcome to write me a note if you want me to contact you.